Wholeness and Balance Vibrations tribe. I actually got a couple recordings before this one, and I haven't had a chance to upload them yet. And man, just deep knowledge keeps coming through, but I really wanted to actually talk about what I feel like is one of the deepest subjects, like, you know, really what I feel like is obviously there's going to be a lot of work to keep it hidden. So, you know, I guess we can get right into it. So the reality is that all of us have within us this uniqueness, right? So that means that there's many people that have this Messiah type resonance. This means that they have the ability to, when unlocking their uniqueness, which is also a feature of certain paths, that they can guide many people into the realization of themselves, right? And even that itself is a path. So while you're going through that, you're also being put through all these different tests, and, you know, you can go through several different experiences. And so what I wanted to address today is I want to address these Messiah types, because, you know, I really have encouraged people no matter what. That's why I'm not exposed to the society as people know it, just so that we have someone that is just thinking from a clear space. And what I've done is I've encouraged everyone to, before you try to do other things and get other things together externally for other people, get yourself together first. I've encouraged everyone to, you know, see everything else beside themselves until they get themselves together as a distraction that's preventing them from doing that. And the reason why I've done that, make sure there's some larger bees over here. The reason why I've done that is to really just take everyone through the same path that I know works. Like, I'm watching massive levels of manifestation, and I want the world to enjoy that same level of manifestation. So I'm leaving the formula for you. And in all this process, you know, you navigate the ship. So because English is already a language that's counterproductive, even when you say things, it can come across one or two ways, maybe 3 or 4 ways for a person. So I just wanted to definitely clarify on a few things about how many of us that have, let's say, this star power, if you may, or this level of being leaders or guides, this beacon shining from us because we've just activated something that everybody has, can get used by other forces in order to guide that energy elsewhere. And I just wanted to make this very clear because we've seen this so much throughout history. All I have time to say to people these days is, hey man, don't get distracted on that. Don't, you know, stay on yourself, because these days are very key. You see right now, tomorrow's the Passover, stay on yourself. But then, you know, when certain things are said, it's like some people can still be stuck there and be like, well, what did he mean by that? And is he really, you know, does he mean X, Y, Z? So I wanted to clarify also about, again, the Messiah types that we have on the realm. I want to talk about Quetzalcoatl. I want to talk about the Mashiach. I want to talk about the Mahdi, or the 12er. And I want to talk also about Nipsey Hussle. You know, because this is a very recent, it's something that I was even reading today. I got this book I call Excalibur because it's like a Jewish Bible that I've had for 20 years. It's like, it was interpreted from the original manuscripts, and I just flipped it open because it happened to be there because I did my portal transfer. So I was getting all my stuff out of the box. And I saw it talked about this remnant, basically, this sprout was going to come forth from a family and a tribe that was still small in Judah, right? And then I notice in the beards are back, and that's actually the mark of Cain is actually supposedly that one can't grow a beard, and Cain was a specific family group, Cain. So even deeper than that, what I'm saying is that it's interesting. The beards come out, and then the beards start getting displayed. And then when we're at this age and we're about to go into Passover, and that's why I say, somebody commented and said, well, I wouldn't give him the Nipsey, the title of being the modern Jesus Christ. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, look at the capacity, look at what's being done. Look at the tribes. You know, we already know that the tribes of Judah and the Lion tribes are actually in the United States now. We already know that many of the Nephilim, which are actually a tribe of the Mizraim and a tribe of Kemet, are in the NFL as the Nephilim, and that's why they're big and strong. So we know all this is going on. But what I'm saying is, what I've been saying in the beginning, is that all that is being used by a very weak magician who knows things that these beings don't know. And that because they don't know it, because they won't seek counsel, because the ego has got them out there, and like, there's few that know anything about spirits anyway, they won't say, hey, so what's up with this contract? Like, what's up with this? And then they're already in it. So it's not like, when I say it's already too late, like, we have lifetime after lifetime to choose all the choices we need to make. There's no end to this. So I address everyone as if I'm seeing everyone in infinity. Okay. So from that stage alone, let me tell you what happened to the more powerful originators of this particular path. One of them, the most freshest one that I just want to get into right now, is Quetzalcoatl. Because there's a big confusion that's happened that won't be unraveled unless the message continues to get out. You know, if it 30Xs itself, but that's the difference between Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan, which is seen as the same being. Now, the reason why this is important is because many people are already tripping on Kemet right now, because Kemet, you have to realize that when you have the blessing or the curse to arrive somewhere first, and then you have to set everything up and set the structures, and what you do right or what people call wrong. Wow, man. I mean, I think even for us these days to sit back and to bash any of these cultures, it's almost like talking to our parents and getting mad at them about how they didn't run something based on what we know now, which is a little bit silly. So in truth, we know that the Kemetic Empire and dynasty went, and all of that, everything went to its height. And we know that there was a quarrel towards the end. You know, it happens. And in that quarrel, some of the ones, especially the ones that were a bit more peaceable, the ones also that just had already gotten ousted, they all went into different parts of the world. But the main thing that you always know when you're looking for what they've already accomplished and what they've done is how they build. Because in the cubit, there's a knowledge there. So basically what I'm saying is that if we're over here, and that's why the American system, which runs on one thing, and then the other system, the metric system, runs on another. So if I'm over here and I've learned in one system, every place I build, you're going to see me using that system. So that's how you track who is what's what, is by Imhotep, by Atrahasis, by the knowledge that's actually being used by the black genius. So that's what we're talking about. So getting to this part of the black genius, meaning the black genius means that he could be soaked, or she can be soaked in Ma'at and actually still remain in knowledge, high knowledge and wisdom. So it's math. It's things like family structures. Let me explain to you about a family structure and how a family structure reveals to you everything. Now, they call it the law of changes. That because just certain things happen, something's going to happen after that. And because we've been here for a long time, we've mapped out a lot of that. So what I'm talking about is that there's a knowledge that always knows that there can potentially be within a strong family a struggle between the uncle and the son, the uncle and what would be for him his nephew. Okay, and let me explain why. Because let's say you have a king, okay, and he dies. Who takes control? So by right, his son is supposed to take control. But because probably his brother is still alive, his brother is going to be like, well, I'm older and I was supposed to be the ruler anyway, and he's young, right? And then the young son's going to be like, well, it's my divine right, and but he's going to be unexperienced, okay? And so is going to ensue, because also the uncle is probably more affiliated with the military. That probably was his job and what he maintained as a position rather than being king. He's also going to have many generals on his side and many powerful men, okay? So the reason why I want you to just realize that is because that's a law of change. That means from the sheer fact that you have an uncle or a brother in this scenario, this may happen. Because you have a family, this may happen. Okay, so now things play out. And this is why the ancients, they put together these stories in order for us to see all the ways of changes and things that will happen. The people that you're having the most issue with right now, they know these ways of changes, and because they've actually expunged all the educational systems, they're actually teaching a way in which does not connect in with this, but they're using it as their form of power, just how you naturally act. So let me explain to you just very briefly that even deeper, because I'm going to get to everyone and let them understand deeply about what I just talked about and what that means. But even deeper, taking just really briefly the knowledge of realization that from what I just told you, now we had a migration from Kemet, we had a migration from the ways of thought and the knowledge. And in that process, the last structure, you know, gotta watch these words, these empire systems, structures. The last structure that was set up that was the most accurate to this was Atlan, okay? And Atlan obviously is where you get this word Atlantis. And this is actually the area of Mesoamerica, okay? So the pyramids that were being built in places like Mexico, etc., were being built as a remnant. That's why you have Tupac Shakur. That's what I'm saying. This all is connecting because it is the Messiah resonation. It is the 12er resonation. It is now time for actually the shift to happen. But don't be looking outside. Look within. Whoa. So just check it out. So Tupac Amaru Shakur. Remember I was revealing that when we were together in the Keymakers. We talked about how Tupac Shakur was actually who Tupac Shakur was named after. And he was fighting in the Mesoamerican area. Columbus was coming through. All these crypto Jews were coming through. And he was trying to save the people, right? He had some power. He had the pyramids. But over a while, he had to basically say, hey, I'll be back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Now, in the Wars of Horus and Set, this is how Set, because he's a destroyer, ends up having a lot of the beings. Like, okay, we're going to be back. We'll whoop your ass. But we don't want to jump in and whooping ass because you whoop ass more than everybody whoop ass. Ah! So what I'm saying is that it is clear that Thoth Atrahasis, the black genius, the wise one, retreated because of the destruction that was taking place from Kukulkan. Okay? Everybody was waiting on Quetzalcoatl to come back. Somebody knew about that prophecy and came and falsified to other tribes that they were the Quetzalcoatl, and they changed the name to Ku Klux Klan or Kukulkan. Okay? Now check it out. Look at Albert Pike. Albert Pike, who developed the infiltration to Freemasonry. I know a lot of people, we just keep going with it. We're going through the Outback. So here it is. And I got this selfie stick. He's giving up. In the Outback, well, I'm saying I'm in the Outback. That is the Outback. In Freemasonry, okay? Any person that is a real Freemason knows Freemasonry was infiltrated. The same time, even before, when it was always happening, men that had skills were always being offered to join other guilds and infiltrate the original guilds. And so even the most recent one was done when what we say is Nazi Germany came into the United States, and they infiltrated all those societies because they were a society themselves. They could not allow two societies to actually stand. And remember, these societies, they evoke beings. It's not just like, oh, okay, well, now, brothers, you're going to be with us and this is the mandate. No, it's like, okay, so here's going to be a new force. And who even knows if these forces are going to be habitable to the same card house that the men built? So this is all deep stuff, okay? So what I'm getting at here is that when Albert Pike got a hold of certain levels of knowledge, which they were already trafficking, he not only infiltrated and his group infiltrated what we would call Atlan, they also did so in subterfuge, meaning that they supplanted the bloodline. They didn't fight them head up. These are warriors, nigga. They on that juice. So they didn't fight them head up. They did through cunning, through marriages, through gambling, and mainly through the spiritual stuff. Because y'all Hispanics know y'all some superstitious people. And geez. So through all of that, just like they did with the Hindus, they married into the families. You get the Pocahontas, John Smith story again. I'm just giving you what exactly happened. But see, you're not seeing what happened. Because what was happening is the sacrifices were beginning because they were already worshiping a God of sacrifice, a horde God. A God that even if you do what it tells you to do, it still gets mad. Look at the Old Testament and you'll hear from this God. There's two gods in the Old Testament. But look at, there's one God. People are doing the right thing. They do one thing, slip up, boom, he done killed everybody, children and all this kind of thing. It's like, who do you think you're dealing with then? You know. That's why I said you have to have the ability to know. You have to have the ability to have the gnosis. That means you don't need to be told by anybody else, is this right or is this wrong? I will write this on your heart. You know that ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Or do you even want to go to a place that works? Take me out now. Fine. If y'all got in sacrifice, y'all want to kill everything, y'all want to murder everything, fine. yeah, come get this, right? To get these 5 billion kilojoules of light in your face. That's what will happen. So anyway, what I'm trying to get you to see here, and I'm only trying because it's up to you, to make the connection that a game is being played. However, some are returning to themselves. There's a deep level of knowledge. Everyone's the Imhotep and an Atrahasis and a unique being in there. Now, this is the game of life. This is the house of cards. And trumps are being played. That's why I said the jokers are out. The jokers are the most strongest cards in the deck. Nipsey Hussles, these are the strong cards in the deck. This is what is known. That's why I said the Sith Lords know the location of every Jedi. Okay? And it's up to that being because they can only come through the mind. The Sith or the Scythians, they scythe, they cut off. Okay? So I got another recording coming after this. It's called Time is Set. It's very short. I'm going to get it up. I just want you to see. So ultimately what happened, go look it up yourself. After they began to sacrifice. Remember, this is Albert Pike. This is someone you can look up. Ku Klux Klan, not Quetzalcoatl. Okay? Not Quetzalcoatl. They always want to put dirt on the name. Not Thoth. Not Atrahasis. These idiots. They did it in every single culture. That's what I've been pointing out for years. Every single culture, you see their fingerprint of them going in, changing the story, mainly to be like this. And so this next one reveals to you exactly not only why and where Set actually is and how all that works, because it's just forces and energies. And yeah, just stay in tune. Like, stay in tune. I got another one after that called Give, and it just shows you how whatever you're building, whatever you want to build is already being built for you if you're in the proper space to be giving properly, because you're going to receive exactly, it'll be exactly the way you conceived it. Okay? So what else do I got? Just to close this down so it's clean. So what Albert Pike did was he bought these rights of the Refane, if you may, the poor god, into this culture. He erected himself like he was a god. And I'm saying there, when I say Albert Pike, I'm talking about a group, okay? Albert Pike is a code, okay? They erected themselves up as gods, the same way they put the Jesus thing up there right now, and that's just not their culture. So they erected them as they put them up themselves as God. They put themselves on the top of the pyramid, and they demanded sacrifice, just like it says, hey, this is the only dragon that demands sacrifice of the children, not all the dragons. But this one, and that's what Albert Pike was saying. He's the dragon, okay? Let me show you what happened, though, because the sacrifices continue, and that's why this is up to you. It's up to all of us. So what happened is that after they finished plummeting that empire and dissolving it like it is now in shambles, then they came in also with the same thing in the United States with the Ku Klux Klan. This is not Ku Klux Klan. Over here, it's doing a sacrifice. Then they go a couple countries over and do Ku Klux Klan and start the sacrificing there. Hanging children of Judah. Okay? So now maybe that's what all this has been about. Like why people are saying they're protesting that there's change. Maybe you see that change. I'm not looking, to be honest. Like I have a clear path here and I know exactly what needs to happen on this dimension. I'm just attempting to enlighten others on what exactly to do. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do it myself. And we all know this. Like y'all know me at this point. 10 years, this is me. That's one of those things. It's like if you do something for 10 years, it becomes you. So in that's what is the clear proofs. It's clear proof that, look, do you see chaos? All I'm doing is still sending in the ropes from the higher dimension. Like, yo, you coming up? I mean, karma free. We have another rollout about to happen here. It's going to be live. Like I've taken all of the incentives and things that we put together and really sat down and thought about them and started tying stuff into how, you know, whatever, if you don't have anything, we got something for you. If you have everything, I'll show you where to put it. That is the input output. And so that's what we're developing, and that's what's coming. Wholeness and balanced vibrations. Sending that love, like send it. See, this is what it is about love, because some people know, hey, Jevin, you said love was on that same par as hate. Yes, I did. And just like when we jam, not just the dance, but when we jam frequencies, we go at it with the same frequency to actually disturb the channel, but the opposite force. So why do I choose love? Because that's how this all got started. All the ancient stories I read, it always be some women involved, always be some young cat, always be some old grumpy head. Like that always be the story. And so for me, the same way it started is the same way it's going to end. So the further I get into that, then I know that's where I begin. So that's what's up. I trust everyone as well. I'll be speaking with everyone soon. That's 20 minutes. Wholeness.